As the United States enters the war, the French and British commanders expect our forces to be used to strengthen their weakened lines. General Pershing has bluntly made it plain that we will fight only under an American command and the American flag. These films of the American troops in action thrilled the home front in 1918 as they will thrill you today. Headed for internment far behind the front lines, these German soldiers are at least sure of ending the war alive. More than 30 miles east of Paris, the American forces capture the base of the largest artillery weapon developed during the war. Known with grim humor as Big Bertha, she could sit at this great distance and drop shells on the City of Light with terrifying psychological and physical effect. This scene of desolation was filmed after the Battle of Chateau Thierry, where American and French troops won a decisive victory. Shot down while directing German artillery, this French plane was found to be operated by spies. Their bodies are in the wreckage. This shrine was used by enemy snipers. And in this church, only the crucifix was undamaged. But the boys still seem to find music in the badly battered organ. The death of Lieutenant Quentin Roosevelt, youngest son of beloved Teddy Roosevelt, was a terrible shock to an already grief-stricken nation. American and French ambulances take the Allied casualties back to field hospitals. After a battle with the Germans, U.S. troops display some captured flamethrowers. Communication lines are the nerves of an army, and often the Signal Corps goes into action ahead of the combat troops. though they were prime targets, practically sitting ducks for strafing planes. These gas bags, as they were called, make fine observation posts. This enemy balloon, though not in first-class condition, allows the observer to direct deadly artillery fire into the German lines. The aviators are the most glamorous heroes of this war, creating a new concept of warfare. The exploits of these daring men are capturing the imagination of the spectator world. Captain Peterson, Lieutenant Meisner, and Lieutenant Eddie Rickenbacker are decorated by General Girard. The importance of air power is becoming more and more apparent. Utilized only as observational equipment in the early days of the war, airplanes have proved their value in combat, and men like these in the 94th Aerial Squadron lead the way for the great air forces destined to follow. With the cost of war mounting to unthought-of heights, salvage is an important project. Everything that can be reconditioned is put back into service. Another demonstration of air power. Knocked out by a well-aimed bomb, this grim monster is completely demolished. Writing home. What these letters will mean to the families which have been following the terrible battle of Chateau Thierry in the daily papers, their only source of news. Excited and thrilled by the fever of war, the class of 1918 graduates from Annapolis. These young naval officers will go directly into active service. Diplomas are presented by Secretary of the Navy Josephus Daniels. The exuberant and traditional snake dance winds up the years of preparation, and now these men must face the serious business of winning the war. Admirals of the War Fleet confer with Naval Secretary Daniels about stepping up naval operations. Theirs is the gigantic task of delivering men, munitions, and food to Europe, battle the deadly submarines, and blockade Germany. Another terrible creation made possible by the gasoline engine is the tank. Built in America, shipped to France, and manned by our men. Though they're rather slow, they have a terrifying, inexorable deadliness about them as they lumber in advance of the foot soldiers, or put their strength to physical objectives. These walls and buildings make excellent cover for enemy snipers. why poison gas is the most dreadful aspect of the war. Special emergency aid for victims of gas attacks is provided, but the ravages of chlorine and mustard gas are appalling and long-lasting. Immediate attention was imperative for gas-damaged lungs, and this new type of respirator is used in an attempt to save men injured by this cruel method of fighting. Behind the lines, the boys clean up a bit. Their washing machine is primitive, but illustrates considerable ingenuity. Though they give it the light touch, these little borders constitute a most annoying condition. The rhythmic clanging of the banjo brings a rush of memories to these boys so far from home. Tension grows as the 0 hour approaches and the men prepare to attack. In this old French fortress, built in an earlier century for an almost forgotten type of warfare, Major General Cronkite and Brigadier General Babbitt meet to discuss the next phase of the campaign. This machine gun is in a position to help cover our advancing troops or repel an enemy assault. Digging in heavy artillery is a back-breaking job, especially if the position is under fire. One of the most appreciated contributions of any civilian organization is the Salvation Army's project to carry coffee and donuts to the soldiers up front. These men, usually volunteers, risk death to get information about the enemy position. They are truly prime candidates for the casualty list. With the advance underway, these air shots give a graphic picture of the immense scope of a battle. These are American troops attacking under the protection of their own artillery. Many will die, but others, and more like them, will continue to go forward until the war is won. This is New York in 1919. The war is over. The American boys are coming home. And this is a special welcome home to the fleet. It's the greatest naval spectacle yet held in New York as the battleships come back home. Secretary of the Navy Josephus Daniels says that our ships are the equal of any in the world, that they helped bottle up the German fleet, and that they kept the seas safe for our men, munitions, and supplies. Two leaders of our victorious forces shown here together, Naval Secretary Daniels and Secretary of the Army Newton D. Baker. Secretary Daniels and Admiral Mayo come ashore. following the Naval Review, the entire personnel of the fleet marches down Fifth Avenue in a great land parade, reviewed by Secretary Daniels and the officers of the fleet. Memorial to the war dead. It's installed on Pier A in New York Harbor, where it can be heard by all returning soldiers and sailors. On the high seas, a bridge of ships is bringing the boys back home. No further need for convoys. They can return without the constant fear of lurking submarines. The North Carolina is no longer needed as a fighting cruiser. Though still in wartime camouflage, it's to be the first of many warships assigned to bring the soldiers home. Victory means that wartime rules for saving food can be lifted. The sailors at Great Lakes Naval Training Station enjoy pies, real pies, the kind that Mother had to quit baking during the war. Secretary of War Newton D. Baker decorates General March, the Chief of Staff. War trophies are on display in San Francisco, and the crowds throng to see the guns and equipment captured from the Germans. Here is Admiral Fulham, commander of the Pacific Fleet, and the sailors from the Oregon. This is a captured German airplane. The ex-Kaiser, now plain Willem Hohenzollern, is living in Holland. The man who so recently terrorized so much of the world is in a neutral country. Though out of reach of reprisal, he can never return to Germany. The wounded veterans are remembered by a special show at the famous New York Hippodrome. These men who come from the hospitals in and near New York are a reminder of the brutal cost of war. They deserve far more than a theater matinee, but they're glad the war is over and join in the celebration. Is a depression to follow the war? Secretary of Commerce Wilson appeals to industry to employ the returning veterans, to make sure that places are found for them in industry. Uncle Sam is selling out his war supplies, and at Camp Devon, Army horses and mules are on the auction block. The Army is also selling its stock of warplanes. You can get a bargain, buy a plane, and fly around and enjoy the peace. Baron Makino of Japan visits Washington on his way to the peace conference at Versailles. This is Princeton, New Jersey, on Election Day in 1916. Woodrow Wilson returns home to vote. He has gone from the presidency of Princeton to Trenton as governor of New Jersey and on to Washington as president. What thoughts must be his as he walks about these quiet grounds? He has kept the country out of a world war for more than 2 years. The political campaign, just finished, has been long and bitter. He has stood upon his record and stated that we are too proud to fight. He has been attacked by Theodore Roosevelt and Charles Evans Hughes, who campaigned for preparedness. The day that these pictures were taken was Election Day. People throughout the country are voting for or against his policies. He is to be returned to the presidency when the vote from California finally overcomes the lead which had been built up for Hughes in the eastern states. This is Hog Island during World War I. Woodrow Wilson is speaking for the war effort as he helps to launch one of the thousands of ships built to take food, munitions, and men to Europe. We are engaged in a war to make the world safe for democracy. Closely at the men on the platform, you'll catch a glimpse of a familiar profile, Franklin D. Roosevelt, the young Assistant Secretary of the Navy. man in the straw hat is the young Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The war is over. President Wilson is sailing for Europe on the George Washington to participate in the peace conference. This is the first time in our history that an American president has gone to Europe during his term of office. It's the first time that an American president has attempted to negotiate personally with foreign diplomats instead of relying upon the State Department. The organization of the League of Nations is to result from this trip. It's to be repudiated by the Senate of the United States, but it's to operate for some years as a guidepost along the road of international cooperation. The Treaty of Versailles is to formally end World War I, and it's to be drawn up on this trip. Now the country is welcoming back its men from overseas. The war is over. Thoughts everywhere are on a new era of peace and prosperity. No one questions that we have indeed made the world safe for democracy.